Marshall.
Good morning.
So first off, I want to say thank you to John and Kate for letting me come back this year. I'd like to say thank you to the students and the staff of Marshall Middle School, and of course my gorgeous wife Kathy, who makes everything possible for me to be here. So why are we here? I was trying to figure out what to talk about this year, because I had talked to you last year, and so I asked Gabby, so what do you remember from last year? And she remembered the helicopter almost landed on me, that was it. So I'm going to spend a little more time talking about some of the other things that I hit on last year, if my BlackBerry doesn't log out on me. But first off, before I go any further, are there any Marines in attendance right now? Any Marines? Family Marine? All right. Then happy birthday, 234.
November 10th.
It's a Marine Corps birthday today. And in 1775, in the Tun Tavern, a committee formed 2 battalions of Marines. Kind of a big deal. My dad is a Marine, and so I call him on today, and I flip him a little bit of crap because he chose that other service. So, why are we here, other than the fact that our president signed a proclamation that says we're supposed to do things like this? Why are we here? What is Veterans Day? And I ask this and I get blank looks all the time. Veterans Day started in 1918 after World War I, which was just a nasty war. It was pretty bad, and they thought that was it. It can't get worse than that. And so they created this celebration, this observance, I guess, on November 11th at 11 o'clock. So you've got the 11th month, 11th hour thing going on, right? And you probably can remember that. It didn't work out quite the way they wanted. That's too bad. There are plenty of countries that were involved in that conflict that still observe it. We observe it, and we changed it to Veterans Day because it is our veterans that make a bunch of our freedoms possible, which brings us to the big idea of the day, which is the Constitution. I remember I talked to you last year and I said, when I joined the Army 6 years ago, what did I agree to do? What did I agree to do? I raised my right hand, I said what the guy up front was saying, but what was I agreeing to do? Do you remember it was, did I agree to defend some land? I didn't. Did I agree to defend some people? You know, I really didn't. I agreed to defend the Constitution. What's the Constitution? It's a piece of paper. So what, am I going to go stand outside the piece of paper and guard it? No, I'm guarding the ideas, the big ideas. The conflicts that Master Sergeant T2 is going to go into in detail later on. It's a conflict of ideas. We have the way we look at things, the freedoms that we enjoy, and there are others that would like to take those freedoms away. It is as stark as that, but it is a battle of wills and ideas. But I don't want to get too far into this because I don't want to take myself too seriously because I know that y'all don't. So let me go ahead and share something I observed during a deployment ceremony that kind of brings it home to me when I'm starting to feel like all that, right? So there's a mom who's about to deploy, they're having a ceremony, and her son is wrapped around her leg, not gonna let go. Dad's there, Dad's having to deal with all this, you know, he's crying, everybody's crying, they're trying to figure out what to do. Mom, don't go, Mom, don't go. Dad is at his wit's end. He doesn't know what to do. What am I gonna do? He says, I'll tell you what, if you let go of Mom, I'll take you out to pizza. Bye, Mom. All right, so that kind of puts it in perspective for me. So when Gabby tells me it's the helicopter story, good. Dad getting squashed like a bug, gets your attention. Good deal. All right, so I want to tell a couple funny jokes about our 4 services under DoD, Department of Defense, and how we're separated by a common language, which is usually a joke applied to Britain and the U.S. For instance, the word secure. Secure, it's a pretty simple word, right? 2 syllables, secure. But if you tell the Navy to secure a building, they turn to Marines and say secure the building. Marines do an artillery barrage. They fast rope onto the roof, blow a hole in the roof, clear all the floors, kick everybody out, and take positions on the outside of the building. That's what the Marine Corps would do. The Army will enter the building, clear the building, go and shut the building up, lock it, post a guard. The Air Force will contact the owner and contract for a lease option to buy. All over one word, so we wonder why when we try to do our joint operations, we have issues. Fortunately for us, in the military, we have non-commissioned officers, and that's why things actually work. Officers come up with plans, officers stand up, they look good, they point at things, and the NCOs actually make it happen. And it reminds me of the story of 3 colonels in the woods by themselves, which is not something that should ever happen. They're hiking along, and they get to a raging river, and they don't know what to do. But they're men of faith, and so they say, the first one says, "God, give me the strength to cross the river." Bang! Huge muscles, great swimmer. He starts swimming, almost drowns a couple times, it takes him about an hour, gets across. The second guy watches, he learns. He says, "Give me the strength and the tools to cross this river." Bang! Rowboat, big muscles, rows across, almost capsizes, almost dies. Third guy says, "Give me the strength, tools, and intelligence." God turns him into a private with a map. Looks at the map, sees the bridge, walks 100 feet, crosses the bridge. But ideas, they're pretty powerful things. Support and defend the Constitution. It didn't really mean that to me when I was 19 years old trying to figure out what I was going to be when I grow up. Now I'm 45, still trying to figure out what I'm going to be when I grow up. But the words do mean something to me now. And I want you just to think about the ideas as you go through your day. So what today is about is recognizing those veterans. And as you heard the statistic earlier, it's 25 million. So I'd have to take off my shoes. It's about 1 in, 12? So 1 in 12 of the adults you see out there are veterans who have sacrificed a piece of their lives for this idea. So as you're going to school and you're texting and you're surfing the internet and you're getting to go to a mall and you're safe that entire time, it's those people and those around them who made that possible. It's kind of a big idea. All right, just because I want to make one more slam on officers, I want to tell one last joke here. Long before I was an officer, I was an NCO, so that's why I do this. But you've got a commander, and that commander's first sergeant, which is their top non-commissioned officer that really makes the company work, right? And they're out in the woods, and the first sergeant looks up and he sees stars. He says, "Sir, what do you see?" And the captain says, "I see stars." And the first sergeant says, "What does that tell you?" Well, and this is a college graduate he's talking to. He says, "Well, astronomically speaking, it means that there are millions and millions of galaxies and stars, and that's what it means to me." The first sergeant goes, "You know what it means to me, sir? It means somebody stole our tent." Fortunately for me this year, I'm going to be followed by a much better speaker who's got some awesome stuff to show you. Pastor Artitu is going to come up in a bit. Listen to what he's got to say. He's going to drill into the current conflict and some of it about it. I don't think he's going to go too deep because he runs the same problem I do. But think about that. Don't let anybody steal your tent. Don't let anybody steal your ideas. Don't let anybody steal your freedom. So as you're walking around, you see somebody in uniform or somebody you know who was in uniform, just say thank you. All right, thank you very much.